Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting. Welcome to the Enlightenment Academy, where the journey of discovering your inner magic begins. In a world filled with endless possibilities, we invite you to explore the depths of your being and unlock the mysteries of your true potential. Through insightful teachings, transformative practices, and enlightening conversations, we empower you to access the brilliance that resides within you. Join us as we embark on a path of self-discovery, empowerment, and spiritual awakening. Are you ready to tap into the infinite wellspring of magic within you? Here is your host, Venus Castleberg.
Hello, everyone. So happy to have you here with us today. I'm happy and excited to announce that I actually have a special guest, Amy Shine. I've known Amy Shine for, years. And one of the things that I love about Amy is that her last name is Shine, and she definitely does shine. She's like this brilliant light that walks into a room and just brings this lightness and this joy and this just ease. So I'm really excited to introduce you to Amy Shine. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you. Thanks for such a beautiful introduction.
Yes, of course. So we're here.
I don't know, I feel like I'm shining, but anyway.
You don't? Oh, well, that's how I've always seen you. So,
if only we could see ourselves how others sees us.
Exactly. What I love, though, is we're talking about today, actually, we're talking about one of my favorite topics to talk about, fairies. I love fairies. And I would just love to know a little bit about you, how did fairies come into your life? What's your experience? When did it start? Let's just start with when did it start for you?
So I grew up in Ireland, which is known for fairies, and we actually protect something called fairy forts in Ireland. So fairy forts are like a mound. It's like almost like a circle in the earth, and it's known that that's where the fairies live. And so in Ireland, we protect those places. We don't build on fairy forts. So it's in our culture that fairies exist. And I grew up a lot in I grew up in the country. I grew up in nature. I spent most of my younger years out in the forestry, out in the mountains, like always in nature, and very wild and very free way of growing up. So I didn't necessarily have like a language for the fairies or could name it, but later on in my life when I started studying more spirituality and the spirit world, I started to study with talk to the entities, and that body of work has a class that talks about spirits of the earth. That's when I started to recognize that the fairies actually have always been with me as I was growing up, and they weren't something that I would see with my physical eye, but they were more a playful energy that were in my world. So when you talk about, oh, like you have this joy, I'm like, that's more like the energy of the fairies, that joy and that play and that wonder. And so I didn't always feel like that in my life. I think from my teens until my early 20s, I had a very hard time. I struggled a lot. And it was in my early 20s when I went through my own, I guess, spiritual awakening, was when I started to find movement, and I started to dance more like conscious movement. And I used to go out on the golf course next to my parents' house when all the golfers were gone, and I used to dance with my music there, and it was just nothing but green, 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 green trees everywhere. All you're looking at is just green going onto green, and I used to just dance there by myself. Sorry, my dog is making some noise, and it was there that I started to really move my body and move it in a very free way. And later on, it was when I started to identify that that was when the fairies were really moving with me. They were dancing with me. So it wasn't so much like that, like a physical seeing them and recognizing them. It was more getting to know the energy of the fairies and looking back at my life and realizing how much they were with me a lot of my life.
Oh, that's awesome. So what were some of the ways that they showed themselves to you or that you could perceive them?
Well, I think that if you start to recognize the energy of the fairies, and then you start to identify times in your life when you feel that energy, and then you start to acknowledge the fairies' energies around you, then that can grow. Because it isn't much like it might be different for different people. So for me, when I would move my body, at first it'd be like kind of heavy and you're feeling all in your head and you're feeling awkward, and then after a while you get into the movement and you start to let go of your mind and you start to get more into this flow, and you start to release tension and you release stress and maybe anger and these pent up energies. And then at a certain point in the movement, you move through that heaviness, the lightness starts to come. And that's where the fairies are. The fairies live in a world of lightness. They live in a world of joy. So once I started to access this joy in the movement, and it was like this sense of like possibilities came through, like I went from feeling I didn't know what I was doing in the world to feeling full of possibilities. And that's where I started to identify, okay, that's where the fairies live. The fairies live in a world of possibilities. They live in a world of lightness and oneness, not in a world of separation. So that's where I started to get more of sense of the fairies' energies. Plus, a big part of it was that I was dancing in nature. So I was dancing with the earth. I was very much getting connected with the earth. You will have an easier time perceiving the energy of the fairies in nature, by going out, being around the trees, being in especially green areas, being in green forest land, being in the mountains. you will start to perceive the fairies' energy more in those spaces. But you can also perceive the fairies from your home too, you know, if you start to get more in touch with them.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I think it's just like, it's the asking, right? It's like, oh, I'd really like to perceive them. So then ask them. My ex-husband, we were talking about fairies one day, and he was like, didn't really have an experience of fairies. And he just said, would you give me an experience of fairies? And he went to grab the soap bottle for dishwashing soap, and this entire stream of bubbles came out. Like, just like, and he was like, oh, that's the fairies. Like, it was just so clear, right? Because it never, I mean, like, who squeezes a soap container and it just goes streaming bubbles? So
yeah, they like to play tricks. The fairies, so they like to mess with you, you know. So if you perceive them, like, they might play a trick on you.
And I think it's that, and maybe you have a different experience, but for me, it's like they do that to like lighten up. Like, we take things so seriously, and they're like, "Can you just lighten up a little bit?" Like,
yeah, that you're never going to connect with the fairies from seriousness. Like, the movement was a big part of me connecting with the fairies, because the movement was where I started to access that lightness and that joy and that playfulness, right?
Mhm.
And that's, I mean, the fairies just don't live in a world of seriousness. Like, they're not significant and they're not serious about themselves. And we as humans tend to be very serious and significant about ourselves. And that's what I wrote in the book about, like, when I was a child, they were naturally there, because as a child, you just naturally play. You just have a sense of curiosity. And then you grow up and you try to be an adult, and you try to fit in, and you try to, you know, be serious, and you have some serious responsibilities as well as an adult. So it's easy to lose that magic you had when you were a child. So finding things that bring you back to that lightness, like I said, for me, it was movement. For you, it may be cooking or gardening or artwork, or, you know, being with your dogs, like whatever it is that brings you back to that lightness. That's where, I mean, that's where all the light beings of consciousness and the fairies live. You know, they live in a world of lightness.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've also heard, speaking of, she's going to make her debut, that animals are joy guides as well. Like, they're here for, like, to bring joy, and you know. So this one always has to be on camera when I am. Okay. But it, like, she makes me laugh, right? She just like brings this joy with her, and my dog too. She's usually like freaking out when I'm like doing a recording or something. It's like, you're taking it too serious. I'm one of the few people I know, I'm sure there's others out there, but I have what I call parking fairies. They always get me front row parking. They're amazing. I'm always so incredibly grateful. They love appreciation, like, you know, acknowledgement and appreciation, like we all do. But when you're like, thank you so much, parking fairies, for getting me a parking spot, you know. So this is treasure.
Yeah, I think that's really important to acknowledge that if you want to increase like the connection you have with anything, whether, like, if I wanted to have a deeper connection with my friend, right, and I didn't talk to my friend in a year, well, the connection is not going to be that deep. But if I want to, like, have a greater intimacy with her, I would call her more often. I would ask her more questions. I would see how she's doing. So that's how we need to apply it to the spirit world, to whether it's or your spirit guides or the fairies that you want to connect with. The more that you talk to them, the more that you ask them questions, the more that you engage them, and the more that you acknowledge them, the stronger their presence in your life grows.
I love that. That's great.
Yeah. And at first you may feel kind of weird because, you know, at least you know you're calling your friend and you're getting an answer from her, right? Well, right. With the spirit world, it's not. It's the communication back to us isn't as linear or as physical as it is with our friends. So we have to be willing to let go of our like hard focus of our mind. Like your husband, he just asked about the fairies and then the bubbles. So then in that moment, it's like, okay, you just asked a question and they answered, acknowledged, you know, And one of the things I love to do is ask the fairies to show up in nature. Every tree has some sort of fairy imprint in it. So I start to notice the shapes in the trees and then notice the shape, like, is there a fairy hiding in there? Are the fairies leaving shapes for you to see? Like, can you acknowledge that? Like, just very simple things where you acknowledge it without it having to be like that significant, just like, oh wow, like, and the more that you start to notice these things.
I love that. Yep. And then it, like, gratitude grows. So like you're grateful for it, you'll see more. The more you, and it's almost like you're looking for it then too, right? You're like this like anticipation, expectation of like, well, I've asked, and so now I know that I'm gonna have some sort of experience, right? So
Yeah, and I think it's good to know that like vision is just one way of like having awareness. Most people will not see a fairy in physical form, because most of all, fairies don't usually appear in physical form. They'll a lot more communicate to you through your mind, through thoughts, through images, or through sensations. So maybe get to know, like, what is the way that you download information from whether it's your spirit guides, fairies, God, source, spirit, whatever that spiritual experience is for you. How do you download information? Are you someone that gets more ideas? Do you get it through your mind in words? Do you get visuals? Do you get sensations? And focus on like what you do get, not on what you're not getting. And the more you focus on, oh, I'm someone who gets a lot of sensations. So when you go out in nature, maybe you can see them on your body. Start to notice that, and then just like start to maybe find a language that, like, okay, what's the sensation telling you know, or get a feeling. What's the feeling telling you? You hear words. Okay, what's the message here? So you have to also have like a sense of curiosity and wonder. It's kind of like you're an investigator, like you're investigating what's there.
yeah.
There's clues there.
Yeah.
It's not as obvious as like having a linear conversation with someone.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, we've had other live streams where we've talked about the different clairs, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clair audience. So you might hear things, you might see things, you might feel things, but there's also the know things. You might just know things, and you might not know how you know, but just trusting that, right? However you're getting the information. You also might hear somebody like behind you at the coffee shop, and they're talking to somebody else, but you're just very clear that that was also for you. Like there was a message in there. You can draw oracle cards, right? There's all sorts of things. And I know Amy has something really cool. She actually just wrote a book, and that's part of why we're having this conversation. Amy, tell us a little bit about your book.
Okay, so the book is here. Let me see. So it's called Dancing with the Fairies. I don't know. Am I going to?
That's awesome. Yeah, Lola, or yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
So Dancing with the Fairies, it's a new awakening of the magic of the earth spirits. So yeah, it's a short book. Sorry guys, my camera just went a little blurry. That's the fairies messing with me.
Yeah, the entities always mess with my cameras. They're like, oh, we're here too. Like, bye.
Stop going into your head. Stop being serious. So yeah, the book is not serious. It's a short book, and really just I got a download one day, and the fairies are like, we want you to write about us. And I'm like, really? Me? Like, why? And no, you need to write about us. And the download was really talking about my journey with movement and dancing, and how I found my connection with the fairies through the movement. And I talk about other things in the book too, about different ways of connecting with the fairies. And there's some movement meditations with the fairies in there, and some communicating with the fairies meditations as well. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Hey, would you share a little bit about like I know you do a lot of movement and dancing and stuff like that, but like let's say somebody's like listening and they're like, well, I don't really dance, and I don't like, do you have any recommendations for them? Like how could they maybe get started with the movement piece?
Well, the thing is, you're moving every day. So to say you don't dance is like a lie. It's not true. You're dancing every day. Like, even if you're in a wheelchair, you're like moving. You're like, everything is always moving. So I think a lot of it is just like letting go of your judgment of what you think dance is and what you think movement is.
Mm.
And there's lots of different ways to move. Some people love to walk. Some people love to do more than dance. Some people love yoga. Some people love going to the gym. So, um, my invitation is more that as you move, stay connected to your body and to the art. And
Mm.
whether you are going to the gym or you're going to a dance class or you're going to a walk in the forestry, it's like, can you connect with the art and can you receive from the art's wisdom? And that's really what I teach through the movement, is bringing our bodies back in connection with the art, the structures in our mind, like the control, and coming back to our body's wisdom and to the art's wisdom. And the art's wisdom includes the fairies and includes the nature spirits and it includes so much.
Yeah, I love
That
that. Yeah, yeah. My connection is definitely hiking in the woods. Like I'm hiking, and I always get like downloads and information, and I'm just always so happy in the woods. Like it's just like where that's just my jam. So thank you for saying that. Yeah, so it could just be anything. And I've also found a lot of joy in just doing like free flow dancing, like just put on any music that you like and just move however your body wants to move. Amy, do you do dance classes or
Yeah,
anything like that?
I
Yeah,
don't teach dance. I'm not a dance teacher. And
right.
what I do facilitate is movement classes like that, where it gets people out of their heads into their bodies, and it's a free way, like a free expressing yourself through your body in a free. It's not like there's no moves to copy. So it's like so much of our life is like, go to this class and look like the teacher, go to yoga and do the pose the teacher's telling you to do, go to the gym and do the workout everyone else is doing, and which is all good to a certain degree. But this movement is really ancient and it's tribal, and it's what our tribal ancestors did. Our tribal ancestors danced with the earth. Like when there was a drought, they would dance and the rain would come. But it wasn't structured dance. They moved in union with the earth in their bodies. They knew the power of movement. A baby was born, they would dance in a circle. They would move. Um, and that was their prayer. That's how they prayed. They moved, and they had
Mhm.
instruments, and they used their voice. It wasn't just movement; it was voice as well. They were using their sound. They were playing instruments. They were coming together in community, and it wasn't about the of the movement. It wasn't. Nobody was standing around going, "Oh, she's not dancing the right way." There was
Right.
a way, and so I that's what I teach, and I find that we are being pulled back in a way to community and to a lot of these ancient practices that our tribal ancestors did, and that have been lost in our technology, our world of technology today.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I'm sure people are wondering, like, where do you live? Yeah, I know you're from Ireland, but where do you live now?
Oh, that's a an interesting question at the moment, because I'm getting ready. I'm actually packing today, so I'm leaving Florida next week. I've been in Florida for 10 years, so I am a resident of America, but I'm leaving to go to Ireland for 2 months, and then I'm going to Bali for till November, and after that, I don't know. I will come back to Costa America in November for a while, but I'm not sure. I have no plans right now. I'm like going on a
Oh, I love that. That sounds so exciting. That's
yeah.
really awesome. Talk about following the energy, right? And following the fairies. Fairies, one of the things I like when I go to Costa Rica, fairies love Costa Rica, like because there's so much more nature. So I wonder what experiences you'll have in Bali. That'll be really neat. And of course your homeland. So
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, if there was any advice that you could give the people that are listening and watching today about how to connect with fairies, or just one thing that you would really want them to like take away from today, what would that be?
I would say if you would like to connect with the fairies, go out in nature and ask them to show themselves to you and ask them questions. Ask them, to show you the way, whatever questions you can formulate, and then get quiet and listen and notice what shows up. And don't dismiss it. Don't, don't let your mind block it in a way. Just ask questions and see what shows up. But don't try to see it. Don't try to force it,
Let it just be. Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, my cat looked up at me. She's like, yeah, don't force.
I know. I have a little French bulldog here who's like, please rub me. And I'm just trying to rub him to keep quiet.
They're so cute. That's awesome. Well, yes. So for those of you who didn't catch that, Amy Shine wrote a book. It's called Dancing with the Fairies. We will definitely be putting some links below this video so you can go and check it out for yourself. I'm excited to read it. I hope you are too. Amy, it's been really wonderful having you here. I'm super grateful. And super excited for you and your adventures and where the world's going to take you. I look forward to watching you shine everywhere you go.
And I just want to mention, you did ask about the dance, and there is I did a free movement meditation with the fairies and it'll be on the landing page for the book. So www.amyshine.net /dancing with the fairies. So I'll send you that link if anyone is curious about the movement to try it out.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, I'm excited to try it too. So well, thank you, Amy. Thank you, everyone. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back for our guided visualization today. I look forward to seeing you in a few minutes.
Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome forward, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that time with Amy Shine. And once again, please go check it out, Dancing with the Fairies. And we will provide the links for sure. Even just playing with the exercise she mentioned about being willing to go out in nature and just ask for the fairies to show themselves to you. I have a whole slew of them. I have parking fairies. I have cooking fairies. Fairies love to tell me how to make something. And definitely the fairies of the forest and being out in nature is a big one. And so today I thought we would do a meditation, a visualization on meeting the fairies and see where we go with this. So thank you again for being here and finding that comfortable seat, that comfortable space, and relax. Breathe and relax. Breathe and relax. Breathe in. Breathe out. Closing the eyes or keeping the gaze soft. That's an option as well. So whatever works for you, allowing yourself to just breathe in and exhale out. Breathe in and exhale out. And relax. Relax the body. Relax the mind. If you're someone that thinks a lot or has a lot of thoughts coming through your mind all the time, just allow them to float by like clouds in the big blue sky of your mind. Not holding on to anyone in particular, not feeling like you need to follow it down the rabbit hole. Just let them come and go. Breathe in. Exhale out. Breathe in. Exhale out. And then connecting with the earth. I want you to just feel your feet on the floor. Or imagine your feet in the grass. And we're going to draw that earth energy up through our feet, into our shins and our calves. Breathe in. Exhale out. And then pulling that energy up through your feet, through your shins and your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hamstrings, all the way up to your hips and your waist. Breathe in. Exhale out. And then drawing that earth energy up through your feet, up your legs, through your waist, into your belly, your low back, your chest, your upper back. Breathe in. Exhale out. Drawing that earth energy up through your feet, up your legs, up through your torso, and down your arms to the tips of your fingers. Breathe in. Exhale out. And then drawing that energy up from the earth through your legs, through your torso, your hands, all the way up your neck and through your head and out the crown of your head. Breathe in. Exhale out. With every breath, allowing yourself to relax even deeper. And I want you to imagine yourself going to your favorite place that you've ever been to outside. Or if you have a favorite place that's inside as well that connects you with nature in some way. So maybe you have a greenhouse or you've been to a butterfly emporium. But picking a place that you feel calm and safe and connected to nature in some way. And just observe the sights. What do you see? Are you in the forest? What do you smell? What sort of things do you hear? And have the temperature be just right, not too cold and not too hot, but your favorite temperature. So, how does your body feel in this place? And let's lower the walls and barriers, even the ones we don't know about. Anything that may be blocking us from perceiving even more, from feeling even more, from seeing, tasting, smelling. What is the taste in the air? Breathe in, exhale out. Breathe in, exhale out. Lower the walls and barriers even more. And in front of you, you see a path. A path that takes you to the land of the fairies. And we'll count back from 10 to 1 as you slowly walk down the path, still taking in the beauty all around you. 10. Notice the size of the trees or the sounds of the ocean. 2, 10, 8, 7, how do you feel? You feel safe. 6, 5, 4, beginning to come to this clearing or this sacred place of the fairies. 2 and 1. Allowing yourself to pick up on the joy, the vibration, the busy little energies. And what are they doing? What are you aware of? What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear? Does the air smell a little different here? And what would they like to show you? What would they like you to know? Allowing yourself to be guided, maybe deeper into this fairy glen. How does it feel to be here with them, connecting with them? In however they're connecting with you. Again, if you can't see them, that's okay. But what do you feel? What do you know about fairies? What do you know about this land, this place that they live? Maybe you can feel yourself feeling like dancing, or maybe you can perceive this rocking motion, this connection to this energy, this playful, soft, and joyful energy. Fairies have something for you, a gift that they would like to give you. Allow yourself to just receive their gift. Again, maybe you see it, or maybe you feel it. Maybe it's wrapped, and you get to unwrap this gift. And what do you perceive? What are they gifting you? Maybe it's more joy. Maybe it's more ease. Maybe it's more lightness. Maybe it's something specific. Maybe it's a message. Maybe they've been wanting to talk to you for a long time, and they're so excited that they have your undivided attention right now. What would they like you to know? Allowing yourself to be in gratitude for their gift, and maybe the gift, you understand the gift right now, or maybe you don't, and that's okay too. But ask them to clarify. If you're wondering what exactly this is, ask them to clarify this over the next few days, showing you what they desire for you, what they are gifting you. and just receive with gratitude. And then they take you even deeper into the glen, showing you their homes, showing you their work, their play, what do they do? Do they help things to grow? Do they take care of the animals? Do they drop joy bombs into your world when you least expect it? And as they take you through this fairy glen, you walk up to a big lake, a body of water, and they're guiding you into this body of water. Notice how brilliant it sparkles. It's this transcendent, translucent water, and it is so bright and shiny and warm and welcoming. And they are guiding you to this lake. They are guiding you to step inside, to allow yourself to float in this water. The water is the perfect temperature for you and your body. And you float with total ease. And allow this water to wash over you as a kind of spiritual cleansing away doubts and fears, negativity and darkness and struggle. Just let the water wash you away, anything that's not serving you anymore. Letting it all go, letting any pain go, any physical struggles and sensations that you've had. Letting go of any physical diseases, any mental struggle, anything at all. Sadness, grief, allowing the water to just wash it all away. Sometimes we're so mired down by the struggles of today, being so much in survival, that we can't even perceive the magic of the fairies, because there's so much going on in our lives. I want to invite you to just let go of whatever you can let go of today in this beautiful cleansing water, allowing yourself to just be washed, cleared of anything and everything that you are willing to let go of today. And just float, and notice how much lighter even now you're floating in this water. how much lighter you feel. Maybe so much lighter that you could walk on the water now. And see and feel and hear and know this energy is purifying you and washing away the clouds and the darkness and the fog that perhaps you've been living in. Allowing yourself to perceive even more of the spirit realm, even more of the fairies. Maybe you notice now how much clearer they come into focus, or how much more of the land around you you can perceive. And maybe allowing your body to move, to dance, to hum. Feel the vibration of your body as you let go of this energy. Feel the tingling sensation that perhaps your body has as the little molecules and the cells come alive. Every fiber of your being being washed clean. And how much more aware are you now of everyone and everything? Maybe you can tap back into that gift that the fairies gave you in the beginning. And is it more clear what it is now? Do you have more awareness around it, a better understanding? If you don't today, that's okay. It will come to you. You'll know what this is. And thanking them once again for communicating with you, for connecting with you, for sharing their place with you. Allowing yourself to just have that lightness coming out of the water, letting all of the heaviness go, all of the struggle go. Beginning to walk through their glen. Notice how much they are celebrating you, how happy they are for you, how much more they're showing up for you because of how much lighter you are. It's so much easier for them to connect with you when you let go of some of that heavy stuff. When you find some more joy. When you are just enjoying whatever you're enjoying. Maybe you're enjoying being outside or enjoying the magic, the mysteries, the possibilities. And just allow yourself to slowly come back through the fairy glen. Thank the fairies. Ask them to be more present in your life and be open to when they show up, however they show up for you. Walking back in through the forest. And back up the path. And does the air smell a little cleaner? 9, 8, breathe in, exhale out. 7, you're heading to that place. It's one of your favorite places on the planet to be outside. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Finding yourself back in the favorite place you like to be, knowing that you can come here anytime to relax, to just be, to meet the fairies, whatever it is for you. And then breathe in, exhale out, begin to become aware of your body once again, opening your eyes, looking around. Does everything seem a little bit different? Maybe a little bit brighter. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a wonderful day.